Hello, Wanderers. My name is Stray, and this is the long awaited return and conclusion of our Drengot playthrough here in Crusader Kings 3. Now, as most of you know, I have been on a bit of a hiatus due to a multitude of reasons that we will not get into here, but I have come to finish off the story of King Tancred II and the line that extends back to our ancestors who settled here in Italy long ago. That is not Italy, that is India. Now here we are in the Kingdom of Sardinia, and we'll do a quick little recap of our dynasty for those who do not remember. We are, as you can see, King Tancred II, a great warrior blade master who was known for his cowardice and youth, but has since overcome it and proven himself to be a capable warrior and commander. Our father was King Tancred I, the Eloquent, a drunkard and a party goer who was also a fairly good manager of money and trade. He was personable and he made friends among the neighboring kingdoms and brought a lot of wealth and prosperity to the kingdom, despite getting into a little bit of debauchery himself. Our father was not King Gilbert. No, our father was King Gilbert, but the ruler of Sardinia at that time was actually our mother, Queen Fredesende, a very powerful woman who took after her father and grandfather and essentially was the one to really carve out the Kingdom of Sardinia as we know it today, with it kind of spreading around the Mediterranean, even though her father and grandfather and her son have contributed to that. It was Fredesende who really got this true kingdom here, this Mediterranean kingdom, started and strong and able to fight against its neighbors and be successful. So Queen Fredesende is a lot to thank for what Sardinia is today. Her father, of course, was King Jordan of Sardinia, who was a groundbreaking leader and warrior who fought on many campaigns with his father when he was a child, including helping carve out the Kingdom of Sardinia, or the Duchy of Capua, on the mainland during that time. And he was truly the first king of Sardinia when it was mostly relegated to Sardinia itself and its holdings here in southern Italy. So King Jordan was the one who created the true basis of Sardinia, who kind of got the flame flickering in the hearts and minds of the people who would later become the Siculo-Normans. So King Jordan, he was a great man, great leader. And of course, his father, who we began the game with, Duke Richard of Capua, who came here and fought as a mercenary at first and eventually took hold of land here in southern Italy, fought alongside and against his neighbors, the de Hautevilles, but eventually allied with them and created an alliance that would kind of persist through the ages. For many generations now, the de Hautevilles are still definitely intermingled with the Drengot family, but obviously we are the preeminent family here. A clear sign of this alliance is our wife, Queen Emeline, who we have installed on the throne of Sicily, even though its holdings have been greatly reduced by the Byzantine Empire. We are still trying to take that back in our wife's name. We'll see if that can be done. But for now, we have at least installed her on the throne, and our children will eventually ascend to that throne as well. So that's kind of state of the affairs. We're going to let the time run here, and we're going to kind of run by time a little bit quicker here and just kind of let a little bit progress. Apparently, Count Nicodemus has denounced me, cited my rivalry with his friend Duke Isaias. Flock of sheep, nothing more. Oh dear, it looks as though one of our children has died. Queen Sibylla of Galicia. What happened? She died in childbirth. That is unfortunate. Her son Infante Gerardo Fernandez of Galicia, of House Yemena Lerna, has survived at least, though he is delicate. And unfortunately, our daughter has passed away. That is sad, and it does compromise our alliance here. But luckily, Galicia will remain allied for now. We do need to kind of keep northern Spain at least in the hands of Christendom. So that is quite unfortunate news. Questions of punishment. Jordan came to me complaining about Fredesende bullying him. Oh dear, Prince Jordan. This is our, I believe, youngest son. Yes, he is. He is our youngest son. Ambitious, but arbitrary and rowdy. Could be a bit of a troublemaker himself. He started asking how somebody should get hanged. I mean, oh wow, no, he's getting bullied by this giant 6-year-old girl. That's kind of embarrassing, Jordan, but make sure to stay hidden. No, I think your will is the only law that matters. We can't let him continue to get bullied by some girl, so we will tell him that he needs to deal with that. Looks like King Tancred here is getting a little paunch around the belly. He's enjoying his elderly years. There's nothing much to do while I'm waiting for my food at the dinner table. Out of curiosity, I glance under the table you sit at. Almost puke as you see some disgusting mess, partly crusty and dried up, partly still sticky and goopy, sticking to the underside of the table. Who in the blazes put that there? What is that to begin with? Gross. Somebody is making a mess of our hall. That is not how it's supposed to be. As we take a look at our court here, we see we have quite some interesting characters here, including Mayor Tariq of Samasi, who is actually Andalusian. We have quite a few counts and great knights here, visitors from far off realms. As you can see, the statue of Queen Fredesende here as well, and plenty of prestige in this court. But what's going on over here? Anxiety knots my stomach as jealousy rears its ugly head. I sigh and glare at the cause of my misery. I know I ought to be thankful that our guest, Liet Berga, appears to get along well with Corneliu, my son, but there's something in how the two interact that worries me. Okay, their smiles are of the kind of lifelong friends or devoted lovers share. They unabashedly act as if they are only one in the room, blithely leaving me out of the conversation. Just what is their relationship, and should I do something about this? My son may be having an affair with this 70-year-old woman. That's a little interesting. I think we should probably kick this woman out of our courts. We can't let this persist. Our son cannot be dallying with low class like that, obviously. Tinsender, sunny day. Of course, you will remember our horse, Tinsender. She seems eager to stretch her legs in beautiful weather, and I can do nothing but agree. Oh, we shall certainly do that. Count Larentu Abbastia has accused my vassal of having copulated with her lover. I suspect that this is not but lies. We do like Manfredo more than Count Larentu. What is going on here? Our ally, the King of Burgundy, is asking for our help here in a liberty war. Obviously, we shall accept. And I think that we will summon our forces. We're not going to summon the entire army, but I think that we could probably, at the very least, summon the forces here in Genoa. And we'll meet up with the rest of their army as well. I would be delighted if Jordan could visit your court. Who are you? Countess Aurelia of Terreux. Yeah, I think we can send our son there. I'm gonna just turn the speed off a little bit here while this war continues. Turn it down a tiny bit anyways. We will siege down their capital. We should be protected here anyways. And looks like they're sieging down Burgundy, so we don't really have too much to worry about here. Obviously, there are some wars that we could pursue ourselves, and we will, but I think the realm does need a little bit of a time of peace here, as King Tancred gets on with his life. So watching Dutor play with the other children when Bernard tried to push him over. Who is Torf? My vassal and ward. Yeah, you can be forgiving. We're forgiving ourselves, so there we go. We'll just continue laying siege here. Our allies are probably... Ooh, they've got a lot more troops than us, but if we're playing the sieging game, then I think that hopefully we'll have the advantage here. So watching Jordan play with other children when Fredesende tried to push him over. Jordan took it all in stride and sat down to talk to Fredesende instead. Jordan could be forgiving as well. I mean... That is, we are forgiving ourselves. It is a good trait to learn. Forgiveness is something that I think King Tancred II takes as a way to control the people who are beneath you. You act against them when you need to, but when you forgive them, you have something over them. And I think that is what he is teaching young Jordan here. To count your favors over those who have wronged you, because they can be useful. There we go. As we continue to siege down the enemy castles here. Looks like they're about to siege down the enemy capital. We are being called into another war. Prince Adalbert of Burgundy of House Capet, who is married to our daughter. He is fighting a war against the tyranny. Against... Oh, this is his... I see. We are... I believe we are the defender here? Alright, well, we shall accept. We can head north there if we need to, but I don't really see too much of a reason just yet. So we're going to let all these wars play out. If anything interesting happens in them, we will certainly take a look at that, but we shall let some time pass and come back once some of these wars are finished off. There's some unfortunate news. Our son, Prince Adamar of Sardinia, has been murdered. Who killed our son? Slain, not murdered, but he was slain in battle by Count Elod of Bax. Definitely pronouncing that wrong. He was slain in battle bravely, but indeed, that is a sad day. Our 22-year-old son, he was young. He was fighting here in this battle in the mountains. Our forces were caught by the Kingdom of Hungary, but somehow we won. We won that battle. Look at the difference in troops here. King Tancred, for all of his, supposed cowardice, he just went up with, what is this, 2,000 soldiers against almost 10,000 of the enemy. He was outnumbered 5-1. And look at that. Look at the details of this. Our forces here in the mountains, in the Battle of Bellinzona, here up in the mountains, the Swiss Alps, or potentially Italian Alps, was able to fend off an army 5 times his size and killing 5 times as many of the enemy. That is an impressive feat. Let us look at the woundings and the deaths here in the battle. Bernardo on the other side was slain. Look at all the knights, equally matched in knights. But we definitely, as you can see here, Duke Pongratz died of old age just during the battle, I imagine, of a heart attack. But on our own side, Adamar and Musa Hudid both slain. This is obviously the more important death in the battle, our son. But ultimately, victory was ours. That is an incredibly impressive feat by King Tancred II. Probably one of his greatest battles, I would say. And the fact that we were able to survive that is incredibly impressive. We shall continue the sieges here, but yeah, we lost our son. That is quite sad. Leon, the son of the Mayor Yves of Girona, has brought forward undeniable evidence that Agnes was fathered by none other than him. What? Okay, I wonder if Agnes knew about the true heritage. I guess he's taking acknowledgement of his own daughter. But yeah, let's let this... I mean, as you can see, both wars complete here. The one that we weren't able to participate in, but also this greater rebellion. That battle, the great battle here of Bellinzona, obviously the turning point in that war. And we can return our troops home, but there is one important member who shall not be returning home. Here we are. We can see our brother Gilbert, also an important character, has brought to us a potential commander. He seems well enough. Decent commander here, but he is unfortunately a bit too ugly for our court, and we still have trouble, with our subjects here in Andalusia, so putting one as our trusted commander could be a difficult sell. Tensender is our trusty mare, and we shall pay to have her more fierce, I think. And she took to her training well, so we now have a strong and fierce warhorse. That is pretty impressive. The latest work of my acquaintance, Prince Hamelin, has become all the rage of the court of late. The piece deals with feelings of sorrow and loss, and Hamelin has publicly dedicated it to me after the death of our son. Obviously, Hamelin, I can see that this is truly heartfelt, says Prince Hamelin of Burgundy. I like that. I like that the Prince of Burgundy here, after we helped Burgundy in its war and fought that great battle in Bellinzona, that the Prince of Burgundy has written a poem about our lost son. The poem is titled Lonely Graves in Summer. No matter how many days twist and pass, winds whisper coldly through the grass. Alone, bereft, without that sweet man, we wander, wondering where hurt began. That is a truly heartfelt poem in honor of our son, Adamar, who was lost in that battle. Quite unfortunate and quite sad. I've arrived in Cagliari to pay you homage. Duchess Rosalind, obviously an important character as well. We shall receive her at the royal court, and she kneels in deference, as she should, to her king. And we are feeling quite happy today. Wonderful. Losing some stress. In the course of a practice duel, Mathieu has been struck. My martial card called for a physician at once, but Mathieu d'Alger has unfortunately passed. Tragic loss for my army, obviously. Mental break, wanton desires. I don't think that Tancred seems like the sort to give into that, especially considering how much we love and respect our wife. No, I think we will sequester ourselves and become reclusive after the death of our son. But good news, Duke Torf of Barcelona now considers himself Seculo-Norman, and indeed he is. Excellent, he wants our son Jordan to attend his court. We will send Jordan there to learn more from the court of Barcelona, especially considering Jordan is now the heir to the kingdom of Barcelona. And our enemy, Duke Isaias here, has passed. Very good. Tensender is sick. We shall step in to provide some medicine. And our son has had a daughter. Oh, she is albino. Interesting. That is not seen in our family thus far, I don't think. Giuseppa? No, I think, maybe we should name her perhaps Fredesende. Perhaps she will be a great queen like Queen Fredesende one day. A proposed alliance here by the Hamamids? Hamadids? How are we connected to them? Through marriage between I'm not entirely sure how our characters are connected, and we shall be declining that alliance, as we have no need to ally with the Hamamedes. Not even entirely sure where they are at this point. We are going to study the works and the exploits of Julius Caesar and become an unyielding defender, because I'm pretty sure we were fairly unyielding here up in that battle. Let us hold court and see what the petitioners have to say. I shall gesture for the first to approach. O munificent King Tancred, I am Madidu. I have traveled far to ask your aid in righting a great injustice. Who are you? The man in front of me bows deeply before continuing with his well-rehearsed plea. My nephew Emir Kirfa currently sits on the throne of Ath Bejid, but I am the rightful ruler of those lands. No, I don't think we can help you. It's not about offending the emir, but it's about the fact that we will not be acting on behalf of anyone else in those lands. We will be acting on behalf of ourselves if we do move into that territory. Mayor Tariq has clearly been working himself up about something. He greets me. My king, the dogs of Asili think they are better than us, cracking their haughty jokes each market day. Mayor Isabella, the chattering witch, needs to be put in her place, and those damnable fools made to respect Samasi, the leading city of Sardinia. Bold words. Can they settle it with action? Well, I don't think we're going to make a woman duel a man here. I think that we shall say that I think Samasi is the preferable city. I would argue that it is one of the greatest cities, and we shall spend some money towards that end. The last petitioner, a haggard-looking peasant, now stands in front of me. My lord, I beg for your help. A monster prowls in the drylands of Medjurda, killing cattle and farmers alike. Few have seen it, but the mangled remains of its poor victims leave no doubt. It is clearly a huge boar, as bloodthirsty as few has ever seen. Please send your strongest hunters and save us from its voracious jaws. We shall fend the beast ourselves. We are a skilled blade master, not necessarily a hunter. We are Galliant, a knight who shall defend our people with our blade ourselves. And that is the end of holding court. Wonder what will happen with this here monster, the monster of Baha Medjurda. All of the preparations completed, I set out with a group of selected guards to face the infamous monster that is terrorizing Baha Medjurda. It doesn't take us long to find it. A clear trail of blood leads us straight to the creature's abode. I was already informed of what to expect, but when the massive boar finally stands in front of me, I can't help but shiver. Well, we do have a 100% chance of killing this beast, and obviously we are going to do so, slaying it with our blade when it comes charging at us, and becoming an excellent hunter at the same time. My Wardu Torf has come of age and is ready to take over his lands there in Iberia. He has become an intricate web weaver, which shall no doubt be useful. And we do need a chancellor here. Duke Torf, you are not quite as good at being a chancellor, but you're not bad. But obviously Duke Torquator of Corsica is certainly the best suited for that. Very well suited, Duke Torquator here. We may not have a place for Duke Torf yet, but perhaps he will have one in the future. So let us let time continue to pass, and we shall become a great strategist as well. And there we go. Now Jordan has come of age, and he is a skilled tactician and a formidable banneret. Jordan had led troops and fought bandit even before his majority, battle-hardened into a determined combatant. That is pretty cool to see. So he is taking after his father, and he does need a wife. Who shall it be? The Duchy of Burgundy? Judith de Bourgogne? Or the Republic of Genoa? I mean, that is one of our own territories there. What about alliance power here? The Kingdom of England, the Kingdom of Jerusalem. It could be worth trying to get our fingers back into the Kingdom of Jerusalem. We also have the Duchy of Savoy. You know, we do have some interest here in Jerusalem. I'm not opposed to marrying off into the Kingdom of Jerusalem there. Obviously nobody rides our horse but ourselves. All right, so we have the Civilian War of Djur for the Emirate of Beja. We'll send our troops there, and we shall see how well they do. Raise the local army here, and it doesn't look like we're going to need to participate very much in this war, but we will send our troops in. If anything interesting happens, once again, I will pop back in. As you can see here, my daughter has given birth to a son, and I think, so this will be the future heir to the Kingdom of Sardinia, and I think that Richard, after our great-grandfather, great-great-great-grandfather, would be a good name here. As you can see, we've gotten caught into another battle here where we are very dangerously close to losing. Will our allies get here in time? They do. Just in the nick of time, the allied forces come in, and King Tancred II somehow manages to pull off another successful battle. He held his troops just long enough for our allies to come, and as you can see there, a decisive victory over the enemy. A lot of people were wounded during that battle, several of them at least, by our son. As you can see, look here, we've got Jordan obviously in battle, Prince Gilbert, of course, fighting in the battle, Corneliu, Duke Torf, Duke Torquedor, all these well-known names here fighting in these battles. So, success was had. Let us finish off this war here and end the threat from the enemy. As you can see, there was another small battle during which Sheikh Amdech was slain. We were outnumbered, again 2-1, but King Tancred II managed to pull off another victory, as he has done many times. As you can see, the war is going quite well, and we shall no doubt have our victory soon enough. And with that, the war is completed and successful. I do believe here that we shall... our horse wants to to go out, and I think we shall take Tensender out. One of the few good things we have here in our old age. And as you can see, our horse Tensender has unfortunately passed away, but she did leave a strong foal behind. I can already see her personality in the young one. My friend is still with me in a sense. Rest easy, Tensender. And now we have another horse. I think we shall pick one inspired by history. We did have Tensender just like King Charlemagne. Perhaps we shall have one named after Alexander the Great's steed, Bucephalus. And here we are. Time ticks on by as Duchess Viviana of Corsica comes to show us her gratitude and her deference, and she brings us good money. She kneels in deference, and she apparently attempts to speak to us in French, but she mispronounces several of those words. I think that we shall say, I don't know if we will mock her. I think we shall allow her to retain some level of dignity there. Prince Gargamel. Prince Gargamel is attacking, is trying to overthrow the rightful king of Burgundy, King Adalbert, who obviously is our ally due to his marriage to our daughter. Obviously, we will accept and join in this war here. And assist them as best we can, summoning our local forces to do battle here in Burgundy. And we shall attempt to siege Provence. Well, as you can see there, during the war to defend the kingdom of Burgundy, King Tancred II has died. He drank himself to death. He was a bit of a drinker, much like his father. And thus ends potentially one of the greatest warriors in the world. And as you can see here, the realm has been split somewhat here into the kingdom of Valencia here in Iberia, ruled by King Jordan, a great warrior, and the kingdom of Sardinia here as well. And these two kingdoms represent the vast majority of Seculo-Norman influence here in the Mediterranean, all of it really. And no doubt they will go on to do great things in the future, but with the splitting of the Kingdom of Sardinia, I do believe that will bring this season of the Drengot playthrough to an end. Will we continue this again in the future? Possibly. But I believe here with the splitting of Sardinia for the first time, it has grown and grown and grown, and now finally it has split. I do believe that that leaves us with the perfect opportunity to end this season here. Will we be picking this back up in the future? Who knows? We may start another playthrough. I don't have a timeline for when that could be. Things are still quite busy, but keep an eye out in the future because there may be more CK3 in the future on this channel. But until then, I would like to thank you for coming along with me on this journey. As always, I have been Stray. You have all been absolutely wonderful, and I will see you in another episode.